Homelander owns Vought International. This is home to a flying psychopath with a milk addiction, a guy who can't stop accidentally killing people with his own hands, a woman who uses her scream as a weapon and yet somehow has the most normal relationship in the entire building, and a CEO who ran $1 billion superhero empire, even though he knew every single one of them was a total disaster. We're ranking the characters from The Boys by their aura, and before we begin, one character on this list fired laser beams through a plane full of people, cried about it, and then demanded applause. By the end of the video, you'll understand why the most powerful man in the world is also the weakest person in the room. So let's start at the very bottom, where the effects of Compound 5 are wearing off. F tier, 0 aura, maximum damage. The Deep, Kevin.
You can't talk to me that way.
I didn't say anything.
Let's just call him Kevin, because the Deep applies depth, and this man has the emotional range of a kiddie pool during a drought. Kevin Moskowitz has gills on the sides of his torso, gills that talk, gills that have opinions, gills that he hides under his costume because even his own body parts embarrass him. The Deep can communicate with sea creatures, which sounds impressive.
Remember March 15th, motherfucker!
Until you realize that is his most significant relationship is with a lobster named Timothy, whom he then ate. He cried over it. This man cried over a lobster he himself had eaten. Kevin was a founding member of the Seven, the most powerful superhero team on Earth. His job description at Vought? Ocean stuff. That's it. Ocean stuff. On a team with a man who flies at Mach speed, a woman who moves faster than a bullet, a guy who could bench press a continent, Kevin does ocean stuff. And even while doing that, he almost drowned. Then there's the sexual assault scandal, then the cult, then the guilds that went public. Then the memoirs that nobody read. Then the comeback nobody asked for. Kevin's entire story shows what happens when a man confuses having powers with having a personality. He once tried to give a heartfelt speech about ocean conservation while standing next to Homelander. Homelander looked at him the way you look at a consolation prize that someone accidentally left lying on your office. F tier. The ocean called to Kevin. It said, "I don't miss you." Asked the fish what they think about this channel. They said, "Subscribe." I speak fish now. Don't ask questions. Just do it. D tier, technically a superhero. Translucent, the Invisible Man. The one who got caught in episode 1 by a guy without superpowers. Translucent's entire superpower is that you can't see him. He's invisible. The most useful power there is for a spy, an assassin, a professional in any field that requires discretion. And he used it to go into a woman's restroom. That's the backstory. That's what Vought paid for. This man was a founding member of the Seven. He had the power of invisibility. He used it like a pervert. He got caught immediately and then killed by a bomb in his rectum. There is no dignified way to analyze this. He died as he had lived, in a place where he shouldn't have been. D tier. C tier. Power without purpose. A Train, Reggie Franklin, the fastest man in the world, the one who ran through a civilian at full speed and then spent 3 seasons wondering if he should feel bad about it.
I can't stop, I can't stop, I can't stop, I can't stop, I can't stop.
A Train has a gift that no human has ever possessed. A speed so extreme that it defies the laws of physics. A movement so fast that sound becomes irrelevant. And he used this gift partially for energy drink sponsorship deals. Transducer, Turbo Rush, whatever the brands are called, A Train ran so fast that he became a logo, and then he developed a heart condition from abusing Compound 5 to run faster for a sponsorship deal. He destroyed his own superpower in the pursuit of influence. And then when he finally sincerely tried to do something right, when he actually chose a side, the series made it work. His story arc paid off, so to speak. But the aura isn't about story arcs, the aura is about presence.
Special 2016 Comic-Con edition? What, do they make like a few hundred of these?
And A Train spent most of his screen time serving as a cautionary tale in a Vought tracksuit. C tier. B tier. Real aura, complex execution. Billy Butcher.
Oi, where you going?
William Butcher, the man who emerged to fight the most powerful beings on Earth with a crowbar, a plan, and a personal vendetta that made everyone around him feel deeply uneasy. Butcher is the result of grief learning to fight. He lost his wife to Homelander, or so he thought. Then he found out she was still alive. Then he lost her again, this time for good. And instead of breaking down, Butcher just got angrier. Quiet, efficient, dangerous. The man took Temp 5, a drug that grants temporary powers and kills you from the inside out. because he decided that it was better to die with powers than to live without revenge. That's not a strategy, that's a man who chose an end before he chose a plan. And that's the problem with Butcher's aura. It's immense, but it's entirely inward focused. He doesn't command the room, he contaminates it. Everyone in Butcher's vicinity is eventually pulled into the self-destructive orbit in which he is currently circling. He's the kind of guy you want on your side in a fight. He's the kind of guy you absolutely do not want making decisions about anything important after the fight.
What have you done? Scorch death.
B tier. Queen Maeve, Alina, the most honest person on the Seven, which on the Seven is like being the most sober person at a pharmaceutical company's annual party. Maeve could bend steel, stop tanks, fly, fight, survive anything, and she spent most of this series trying to survive Vaught's PR department. The corporate machine took a real hero, someone who actually wanted to do that, and turned her into a marketing asset, until the original person was barely recognizable beneath the branding. But here's what sets Maeve apart from everyone else in the Seven. She knew it, she always knew it, she looked at Homelander and felt genuine fear and showed up anyway. That's not charisma born of power, that's charisma born of determination. She chose to be in that room with the most dangerous thing there is and chose it anew every day, every single day. Her final act, she sacrificed her powers completely to stop Soldier Boy. Not for the glory, not for the cameras, because someone had to do it. Maeve didn't lose her charisma when she lost her powers, she found it. B tier. A tier, the operators. Mother's Milk, Marcus, the most ordinary person in the most extraordinary situation in TV history. has no superpowers. He has a system, a routine, a checklist, prescribed medications for the OCD that the series never quite gets a handle on because everything around him is constantly on fire. This man showed up to fight superheroes with organizational skills and a deep, documented hatred for Soldier Boy. And it worked. Not because he's the strongest, not because he's the most ambitious, because is the only person in this series who understands the difference between a mission and a suicide note. While Butcher charges ahead and Hughie gets tangled up in his emotions, builds the infrastructure, he makes decisions, he tracks the information, he prevents the operation from being swallowed up by the personal vendettas of everyone around him. And he does all this while being a divorced father trying to juggle Saturday morning pancake making with government cover-ups. A tier. Stan Edgar. Let's talk about the most dangerous man in the boys universe. Not Homelander, not Soldier Boy, Stan Edgar. Because Stan Edgar never had superpowers, he never needed them. Stan Edgar ran Vought International, a company that manufactures superheroes, controls governments, and generates more revenue than most countries. With the energy of a man going over a quarterly report, he spoke to Homelander the way a principal speaks to a student who thinks he runs the school. Calmly, precisely, fully aware that the thing in front of him could kill him in a half a second, and absolutely refusing to let it rattle him. Homelander once directly threatened Stan Edgar in his office with a clear threat of violence. Stan Edgar looked at him and said, "I know what you are. I've always known what you are. You're a weapon, and I'm the man who judges you." And then he went back to his paperwork. That was it. That's the whole trick. No superpowers, no enhancements, just the understanding that fear is a tool, and he was the one holding it. A tier. S tier, the truth. Hughie Campbell. Let's be honest about Hughie. Hughie appeared in this series drenched in his girlfriend's blood because A-Train had run her over at full speed. That's the origin story. That's where it all begins. A man in a record store who, in about 4 seconds, lost everything.
Anything that I've learned.
And then instead of doing the sensible thing, namely absolutely nothing, Hughie joined a vigilante operation that had set its sights on the most powerful beings on Earth. Without training, without powers, without a real plan. Simply, something happened to someone I loved, and I can't let that be the end of the sentence. Hughie is constantly called weak by Butcher, by the situation, by the series itself. And yet Hughie keeps showing up. That's the detail nobody talks about. He has to throw up before dangerous missions, he freezes at the wrong moments, he makes decisions driven by emotion, even though logic would serve him better. And then he shows up again the next day. Not because he's stopped being afraid, but because he's decided that fear isn't a reason to stop. That's not a weakness, that's the quietest, most enduring form of courage this series has to offer. While everyone around him is driven by revenge, superpowers, or corporate interests, Hughie acts for a reason. The series treats as almost embarrassing. He doesn't think that what's happening right now should be allowed to happen. That's all. No Compound 5, no Crowbar, no Ocean stuff, just, and I'm staying until it isn't. S tier, because he's the only one who never needed a reason other than the obvious one. God tier, and why it destroyed him. John Homelander. Let's clarify what Homelander actually is. John. That's his name. Not Homelander, John. A man who grew up in a lab, no mother, no father, no birthday parties, no hugs, just neon lights and scientists with clipboards and a child who could melt steel with his eyes and tried to understand why no one came close enough to touch him. That's the foundation.
I don't know. I do this.
They were right to be afraid, but here's what's special about Homelander that every analysis overlooks. His aura is absolutely real. When Homelander enters a room, everything changes. The air, the temperature, the posture of everyone present, not because of what he might do, but because of the complete absolute uncertainty of what he might decide to do. That is the most terrifying form of aura there is. Not strength, not intelligence, not self-confidence, unpredictability. A dog is scary, a lion is scary, but a lion you can't read, a lion that could decide at any moment that you're a threat, or that he's bored, or that he wants applause. That's something entirely else. Homelander's aura is God tier, and it destroys him because that's what a God tier aura without a God tier foundation produces.
The rest of you, I'm stronger, I'm smarter, I'm better. I am better!
Homelander doesn't want control, Homelander wants love, and he never understood that you can't blaze a trail to love with a laser beam. Every scene where Homelander is at his most terrifying, look at what's behind it. Someone didn't applaud, someone didn't obey, someone looked at him with utter adoration and he felt it like a physical wound. The most powerful being, destroyed time and again completely by the need to be told he is good. He flew into space and screamed once out of loneliness. That is the God-level tragedy of John. God class because in 100 different moments, he had it all. Power, the position, the audience, and every time he sought recognition first. God class aura, F class foundation. That's the whole show. Tell me Homelander deserves a God class aura, or does the milk cancel that out? Because I have an opinion on this, and unlike Homelander, I don't need you to agree with me. Bye, superheroes.